Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo, and you're listening to the Movie Rage Show.
It's time for the movie rating. Tonight's victim is actress Dee Wallace. You've seen her in Cujo. You've seen her in E.T. Extraterrestrial. Now you can see her in 3 from Hell in the latest Critters Attacks. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
That was kind of a mouthful saying that, but tell us a little bit about. Let's start with Critters Attacks real quick. I mean, this is just like came out of nowhere when I first came across the first trailer of it. Like, I thought it was a joke at first. I thought it was just out there. I'm like, oh, what? No, it was serious because there's some familiar faces as well as yourself in this, and this takes place. When does this actually take place, or is this an actual remake?
Well, it's a reboot. I have no explanation for this. I think it was some legal thing. I play the same character, except she's called Aunt Dee now. So the critters have destroyed all my family, and I am out to get them. So it was a real fun romp for me to play this kind of ball-buster lady. Well, I got to go to Cape Town, South Africa, one of my favorite places on earth, to shoot it, and work with Bobby Miller, who I absolutely adore. And it was just, it was kind of a no-brainer when they brought it to me. My only caveat was, are you doing CGI? Because if they were going to do CGI, I didn't want to do it. I think the fans would be pissed off if we weren't working with the puppets.
This is what sold me when I first watched the first couple Critters films when I was growing up, because that was pretty scary. I mean, you got these little furball things that look cute from a distance that you see like 9 million teeth in front, plus a big freaking ball of these things. That's pretty terrifying. And you're having to go today's technology and make a CGI. That's not going to sell the point. It's not going to sell the effect. It's not going to sell me, because I will not probably watch this, or probably not be as anticipated. Even though, seeing your work in this, I mean, I probably wouldn't be as enthusiastic about the story at all if they chose CGI with this.
Fans from the 70s and 80s are purists, and it would be like redoing Cujo with CGI. Not a freaking chance would I do that. Oh,
that would be such a disaster. I mean, no, I mean disaster in a bad way. I can't not even. That's terrible for a Cujo remake like that. CGI, no.
But this Critters has a lot of the humor intact in it, but it's a whole kind of new idea and takeoff with some younger people. I think everybody is really good. I think the story's good. The direction was awesome. Hopefully the fans are going to be really, really charged up about it.
Since watching the trailer, I get a sense of a little bit of the Gremlins effect, because there's one, this is in the trailer, guys, there's one that's a white-looking critter, or Krite. Apparently he's supposedly a good guy, but it doesn't really indicate in the trailer itself. But I mean, that's an interesting way to see what's going on with this.
Yeah, that's a good tease. There's some pretty gruesome, a lot more than the 70s one that I did. We expect that these days. But there's a lot of humor, too. Fans aren't going to be disappointed, I guarantee you.
Very nice, very nice. Let's get into 3 from Hell. Okay, for you guys that don't know, I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses, as well as The Devil's Rejects. I mean, this is by Rob Zombie, and very dark, very gruesome, and can be pretty brutal in terms of the storyline. So, diving into this, is this the darkest you've gone so far, or do you think this is just a more of a, so to speak, a relaxation for you? I mean, you've been in tons of films like this.
Well, it's pretty dark. It's a classic Rob Zombie. I've done 3 films with Rob now, and this is just classic Rob Zombie, back to the beginning, and really professionally taking everything that he's learned since then. I have almost all my scenes with Sherry, which I really loved working with Sherry. She's such a sweet lady. And Rob, too. They're just sweet people. They're just good, nice, awesome people. But Rob, as an actress, he's an actor's dream, because he knows exactly what he wants, and he's well prepared, and he allows you to come in and bring in your ideas and just kind of throw stuff against the wall, And we end up then with such out there creative things. I mean, I don't know what's ended up in the final edit, but man, some of that stuff, I went home and I went, oh my God, did I do that? Did I really let myself do that? First of all, you're going to have to really look to even recognize who I am, which I love, because I love playing those character things where I can really become who they are. I love that. And let me tell you, I did not hold back from looking bad. I look bad in this film, guys, but it suits the character. It's great.
I love the fact that, Rob Zombie gives you creative freedom with your character, and oftentimes even though this is a horror film or anything that's related to suspense or mix, oftentimes you're limited to have a creative freedom with your character, or at least suggest, anything that you'd like with the character, and oftentimes you're like, we're just still going to stick with this, but we'll add a little bit, maybe something later on.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a death for me as an actor. Fortunately, in most of my films, I'm the lead, and so I have quite a bit to say. That's why I like films over TV, because the writers are the producers are the writers in TV, and then the studios get involved, and pretty soon it's just creativity by mass vote. Not the way I like to work. I'm not all TV, of course, but a lot of TV. I always look forward, but he's just a nice guy. Almost every actor that's worked with Rob will tell you, and we say yes, because we just want to be there for him and be a part of it.
That's very cool. That's awesome support. Now, having to perform so many roles throughout your career, now there's so many different kinds of energy in terms of transfer from one character to another, especially if it's mixed genres. Do you think it's best to recycle that same energy that you put into your other roles, or do you think you should kind of reboot it more likely? Do you think it's more easier to do that in order to succeed in the performance of a character?
Oh, sweetheart, every character is different. I've played a myriad of mothers, and they're all different, and they've all got different things intentionally driving them. From my perspective as an actor, my job is to become them, and they're all different. They all have different emotional life. I mean, sure, I have to use me and my instrument of me to bring everybody alive, but I've gone from simpy moms that are really weak to characters like the Frighteners, where I blow everybody away. And I like to play everything in between. My big thing is I just like to do really highly emotional work. That's what rocks my boat. Give me an arc to play, give me authentic emotion to play, and really the horror genre, if the script is well written, that genre offers you that opportunity more than any other genre.
Do you think that authentic type of authenticity, do you think it's kind of lacking in today's filmmaking? I mean, there's just jumps, there's some impact in terms of emotional, dramatic of a character, but of course as every time it gets newer and newer, it tends to get that glossy Barbie effect.
I don't know if I would agree with that, baby. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. Like films like A Quiet Place. My God, brilliant acting in that, because it's a horror film. I mean, it got more recognition than most horror films because of the people involved, but it should have gotten a lot more, I think. And again, it's the genre. Of course, when you get into Marvel things that are so frickin' big now, of course, that's going to be glossy comic book stuff that doesn't call for great actors to be, and it's escapism, and that's why we like it and why we do it. God, there were so many brilliant emotional performances last year in films. Just go back and look what was up for the Oscars. It's pretty incredible, some of the performances.
Oh yeah, but usually it's like sometimes you have like a dramatic role, and then usually that's kind of like the selling point of it, and then it'll lack story. I mean, this is not every single type of film. I mean, it just kind of bounces back and forth.
Well, yeah, and again, it depends on the budget, and it depends on the intention of the film. Sometimes the film's just out there so that you can go in and have fun. They're not out there to do Academy Award winning work or anything like that, but from the perspective that I hold as an actress, my job for my fans is to go out and be as authentically truthful in every single moment that I can be. That's my job. If I'm scared, if I'm in fear, if I'm angry, if I'm vindictive, whatever it is, if I'm truly committed to the experience of that, the audience has to come along for the ride. There are some actors that can act those things really well, but I do think that you always see the difference in people that really are coming from an intellectual point of view and people who really embrace the character and become the character on screen.
Oh, definitely. That's what I love the most. It's like when it's not just like a cheap thrill or just that one small moment. I'd like to see full impact on the emotion. It doesn't matter what type of film. It could be horror, it could be dramatic, it could be even comedy. I want to be sold in that moment. I want to be sold as that character, care what it is. As long as it's a character, I mean, that's all that matters. If you sell that as a character, then you of course, you did your job and you sold that scene.
Well, and you fulfill yourself, too. Cujo just about killed me, literally, and I'm proudest of that film. Of everything I've done, I'm proudest of Cujo.
It is a really good horror-type film, and it's definitely full of like suspense. It does keep you on your toes for sure, and on the edge of the seat, because every moment, and when that dog is like staring at that car, and then, like, you don't know what he's going to do. He can jump right through that, through anything. Like, this is a big dog, man. I'm like, holy wow, it's just...
Yeah, most of them were around 120, 130 pounds. Yeah.
My God. And having to work with that in the car, especially with a child, having to work with that in such a very small, confined space, at least what shows on the screen. Here's a dog outside for you, and having to put all this very emotional type of energy into throughout this film. Finally, at the end, it seems like you can finally, it's like, oh my God, I'm so happy this is gone. Because it seemed like it's a very exhausting, type of film for you for that one.
Exhausting mentally, physically, even spiritually, emotionally. Yeah, it was exhausting. They treated me for exhaustion for 3 weeks afterwards.
Man,
and when I look at the film, though, I go, yep, it was worth it. Went as far as I could go, as truthfully as I could get there.
That's what I consider amazing, because when an actor puts all this kind of effort and energy and all this, just, even for this film, and even though you're drained completely, it will pay off, it will sell off, and it's an amazing thing, because when they see that, you're like, if you get jump scares, if you get whatever, out of that scene from anywhere you go, you definitely pulled it off, and that's the amazing part of it. It's like, oh my gosh, they're telling you to run, or you're telling you, don't do that, that kind of thing. You sold it.
Well, I hope so, dude. I hope so. And when I look at what went down on the set of Three from Hell with all those guys and revising their roles and bringing all that back, there were some pretty tough and grueling times on the set. So
well, I can imagine, man. That's
yeah. It's brutal. It is brutal.
I can imagine.
Everybody's going to be really happy in different ways with these two films.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing both of these. Like I said, I'm a critter lover, so I can't wait to check out the critters. And
Rob Zombie fans, I know I don't have to sell anything to you.
Oh no, man, definitely not.
So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows my daughter's book is out this week. Eat, Pray, #FML. And it's a great ride. It's about her divorce and her other abandonment and her trip to Europe and finding out who she is. And if you've ever been screwed over in a relationship in any way, you want to read this book. And it's available on Amazon. So thank you for letting me get that little plug in. I'm a big believer in nepotism. And I would like to invite everybody to my website, I am Dee Wallace.com. Check out the other side of me. I think it's really funny. I go do all this fear-based stuff, and then I teach people how to heal from fear. And I love those two sides of me. So join me and check it out.
There you have it, everybody. That is actress Dee Wallace.